Let's bring in Ken Cuccinelli now. He's the former acting DHS Deputy Secretary and Heritage Foundation Visiting Fellow. Ken, you saw those new numbers of unaccompanied minors crossing the border. 18,890 in March and February. The number was 9,431. It's pretty much exactly double. And the administration has been saying, don't come now, the border is closed. Clearly, that message is not getting through.
No, these numbers are staggering. And look, all of the messages you hear that sound like they want to slow this down or anything else, they are purely for American audiences. They have a budget in the State Department to put up radio ads, to run Facebook ads, to try to deter people in their home countries. They are not using that money. They are not running those ads. They are not trying to deter folks from coming. It's all literally just talk for the American audience. That's it. When was the last time you saw not one, but thousands of illegal aliens show up at the border with the president's T-shirt on? So if there's any doubt about who owns this crisis, it is President Joe Biden. And unfortunately, literally up to the moment you and I are talking, they haven't proposed one single thing to slow the flow. They've shredded all the programs that were in place to repatriate people and slow the flow, but they've proposed nothing in its place, absolutely nothing. So we can expect these numbers to continue.
Yeah, the plan for the administration appears to be sort of a long ball game, if you will. They want to try to stop or improve the conditions that lead to this illegal migration, but that's something that's going to take months, years, if not decades, to finally get under control. What about the story that you heard Alex Hogan talking about just a moment ago? Texas Governor Greg Abbott wants the federal government to close down a child migrant holding facility at the convention center in San Antonio after reports that children were being sexually assaulted. Governor Abbott seems to be contending that it's a product of lack of planning for the rhetoric that this administration has been putting out to the Northern Triangle countries.
Yeah, look, there are bad folks who come across the border, and it shouldn't be a surprise that they are the least deterred about breaking the law. And when you house them with other people, those others become victims. And that's what you see happening here, that Governor Abbott is legitimately concerned about. I would point out to my discussion a moment ago that it's filling a Houston Conference Center and where they're using athletic facilities and military bases. That's just for what's come so far. Sure. What are they going to do a month from now and 3 months from now? And how much more abuse will be going on because they can't police it? It's like Chaz up there in Seattle or Portland or something when they run their own space, because there's literally not enough manpower and facility oversight by the U.S. government available to police this. So the only way to solve the problem is to stop the flow, and they're not doing it.
We're just getting into the high season now, by the way, with that number of 19,000 last month. Don't know what it will be in the month of April. One other thing we wanted to run by you. An MS-13 gang member was arrested in the San Antonio sector yesterday. This follows the detention of 6 people who were on the terror watch list. This was something the last administration warned about literally every time they talked about the border.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, we got about 1,000 gang members a year we picked up crossing the border, 1,000. And I can tell you as a former state attorney general, the most deadly violent threat in the Commonwealth of Virginia when I was attorney general and still today is MS-13. It's these foreign-based gangs that bring a level of violence that is virtually unheard of to the United States in some of our most vulnerable communities. And the open border of President Biden's facilitates their violence and their business. The peculiarity, not to be too critical, about reporting on 1 or 2 of these arrests is how few of them there are. And I would note that under the Biden priorities, they're not sending them back home. They're not removing those people from our communities, which just literally feeds the violence in our own American communities. I mean, these were top priorities for us to remove back home. And they were some of the folks we targeted for some of our agreements with Guatemala, El Salvador, and Honduras in particular. And those agreements were very successful. Joe Biden shredded them in the first week in office, and now we're paying the piper. We're seeing the results of that now.
Yeah, and you wonder how many got through, too, without being caught after Raul Ortiz, who's the deputy director of Border Patrol, deputy chief, said more than 100,000 so-called gotaways that they know of have gotten through into the United States. There could be many more than that as well. Ken Cuccinelli, good to see you again. Thanks so much for joining us today. Appreciate it.
Good to be with you. My pleasure.
Thanks for watching the Heritage Foundation's YouTube channel. With more than 500,000 members, we are the nation's largest conservative research and education institution. We believe the principles and ideas of the American founding are worth conserving and renewing. Please help us further our mission by subscribing to this channel and sharing our videos with your family and friends.